Hello, hello, and welcome to take 2 of Be My Guest. Let me start that one again. Okay. Be My Guest. This is take 2 of season 2 live on mytimetv.live. It's the place where we gather to meet new and interesting people, find out how we can do things just a little bit differently and be a bit more creative to get a different perspective on life. We are live on Facebook, as I said, and syndicated to over 50 channels of TV on demand through the Binge Network syndication program. You'll find us on Apple, Roku, Amazon Fire, Sony, Panasonic, and more. And do stay tuned to hear from healers, psychic mediums, tarot card readers, gardeners, weight loss and lifestyle coaches, comedians, financial advisors, physical fitness gurus, gardeners, did I say gardeners? Crafty folk, and I don't mean the sneaky kinds, and more. Today's very special guest is Maryanne Till. Maryanne is a healer and coach who is passionate about helping people, women in particular, find their midlife mojo. So if you've been in a midlife crisis and you've lost your mojo, she's helping you become queen of your destiny. She is a master practitioner for NLP, a master hypnotherapist, and I have a phone call. I did turn that down. And an e-hypnotherapist, master coach, and Reiki Master. Over the last 5 years, by personal trial and error, she's created a unique system that supports women to change their experience of midlife from pain and frustration to calm and magical. I would love to welcome Maryanne. Oh, let's unmute you. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Hopefully we're coming through a little bit better this time.
I think we're loud and clear right now. That's
Woo-hoo.
awesome.
That's great.
So just double checking on the platform. So Maryanne, while I do that, just share a little bit about your story and how you became to be the master mojo, getting back your life at midlife.
Okay, so basically the story is that I got to that point because of all of my experiences of perimenopause and menopause, which were not great. So it started when I was in my early 40s, I think maybe about 42 or 43, with symptoms starting to come up. And this was at a time when I thought, life was pretty much under control. I was overweight. I wasn't very fit, but, life felt okay. And then all of a sudden it was like a storm just hit my life and things started to fall apart big time. And I went through a roller coaster journey. And along the way, being the kind of person that I am, I tried to find some answers, and answers were really hard to find. It was so hard to figure out, how to deal with the different things going on, what it was all about. Nobody really wanted to talk about anything, and I just had to try and do the best that I could. And, I tried different kinds of, I suppose, herbal remedies, different things like that. And nothing really made an impact, and just kind of kept on going. And along the way, I was sort of told, you're just having perimenopause or menopause. It's just what it is. Just go through it. 10 years down the track, it'll all be fine. I'm going, I don't want to wait 10 years to feel fine. So purely by, I think, chance. Well, is there such a thing as chance? I don't know. But anyway, somewhere along the line, I started to put into practice changes in my life. And those changes actually changed my experience of midlife. So It was, quite a journey. And all of those things that I learned, all the things I researched, all the things I was able to dig out, quite difficult at times, I've kind of used that to create something that can help other women not have to go through the long lot of searching that I went through.
It's a very important message, I think, Maryanne. And what I'd like to invite you to do, if you are watching, please do let us know. Have you had a good experience, a bad experience? Have you going through it right now and you're looking for some help? Because I know when I was there, and this is a few years ago now, that I had it was a dirty word. But I just like to let you know also, if you know of people, so say you may be a young adult and your mum has just completely lost the plot and you're watching us and you go, I don't know what's wrong with her. She's just turned into a bitch overnight. And she just, there's my kids would probably say that about me, and I thought I was going mad. But please do, if you are going through it, if you know of anybody who has, remotely looks like they could use some help, or you could use some help yourself, please remember to just the little button with the arrow that goes that way, just tap on that and make sure as many people as possible hear this message, because it just was not spoken about. And this, I'm only talking, I'm going to give away my age here, but it would be maybe, I'm going to say 10 years ago. It's probably closer to 20. So 15. But when I was going through it, it was menopause was a dirty word. And you're saying,
well, menopause still is a dirty word in a lot of ways. A lot of the things that you see around, say, on Facebook that you kind of know have something to do with menopause don't have the word menopause in them at all. It's sort of like fabulous and 50 or whatever, but it's around that whole thing. And the problem with menopause being basically a dirty word is that women are disempowered from actually being able to find the information that they need, from being able to then put in the changes that they can make. And you can make a huge number of changes without having to go on any medication whatsoever. And it's not that hard to actually do. I mean, it's kind of tweaking your life. It depends where you're at. It might be massive tweaks like I had to go through, or it might be just some smaller tweaks. But because it's not generally known, do we even really know exactly how the hormones are working? I mean, this is something that I've only recently come to understand, because we think it's just like the sex hormones that are the problem in menopause, but it's not. There's this whole chain of hormones that are creating the problems if we don't understand what's going on. And the very end of the chain are like your estrogen and your progesterone.
So sorry to speak over you there, Maryanne, but with you've got the physical symptoms and signs of menopause, you've also got the emotional stuff that goes with it. And in the last broadcast that we didn't quite get off the ground, I know Roz was saying that she didn't experience many of the physical things, but the emotional crash came. But there's also the spiritual aspect of things. So, and I know when I was going through it, I didn't really, the physical thing, I was totally in denial. I didn't even go to a doctor. And I know, that you can have hormone replacement therapy. And I refused to do any of that. I didn't, because I didn't really understand what was happening. And I guess I didn't want to know in some ways, because it was just too scary.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem. We see it as being something scary because there's been this, I suppose, social myth built up that, menopause is, or midlife is, a crisis. It's not a crisis. It's part of the natural process of our life, and it has a definite purpose. And if we understand the purpose, then we can actually tap into it. And it is a spiritual purpose, as well as, understanding our emotions and our physical body. But the really big part of it is the spiritual part of it, where it is a reset for you. It's, almost a rediscovery of you, because you've, gone from the last time you had your big hormonal splash, which was when you were a teenager. You've gone along and you've done the things that you're meant to do after becoming a woman. Okay, and now you're at this midpoint where something is needing to change at a spiritual sense. It's really about setting yourself up to age well and to be like the wise women of society, not people who are hidden away just because they're kind of, bits and pieces aren't working quite the way they did, although that can actually be adjusted as well. But the fact is that midlife is that point to reset, rediscover your purpose, really get in touch with who you want to be going forward so that you can live out an amazing life. Midlife, by its very term, means you're halfway through your life.
Yeah.
So it's not the time to give up and just sit in the corner and do nothing, okay, or, whatever. Like, quite often that's the way we're seen to be treated. And a lot of it is messages that are kind of relayed through movies, through, books, through even the way that women are treated, I suppose, within a male-dominated society, if I dare to go there. Let's be honest.
Once we go there, Maryanne, we could be going for quite some time.
We could, yes.
You're absolutely right, and I think it was going through my head, and you actually said it. It's the social norms, the culture. I feel that's changing, and as someone who has had their midlife crisis, and I keep having mini ones, but what else? So, but I think you can emerge stronger from that, or you can I do know people who have crawled under rocks and never come out. They become hermits. But and I think with women, you can use that to build your resilience, because quite often these things that happen midlife, be they, your kids leave home, you might have relationship breakdowns, and traditionally females have not been not been better off financially as a result of relationship breakdowns. But I think there's a whole new world of older females, or females that are rising up, and we are classic examples of women who are stepping out and wanting to make a difference for others. So, and I just think it's amazing, because there just wasn't there even a few years ago when I was doing it. So what you're doing is really valuable, and I'd love to talk a little bit about the program that you've got happening, and because I think it's something that we have to have this conversation, and it's going to benefit so many people, and I think it's going to fill a big need. So just share a little bit about with the program you've got.
Yeah, so essentially the program is built around, I think, the three pillars that we've sort of covered, which has to do with the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual. And we really kind of dig into the different elements, and you find out, what the research is, some of which is kind of hidden away and hard to find. How should you eat for, being partway through midlife or whatever? How should you eat in perimenopause? How should you eat in menopause? How should you eat post your period stopping? There's amazing stuff around that. What kinds of foods should you eat? What about exercise? What kind of exercise? All of those sorts of things, which we are hearing more about, but particularly in terms of food, we don't hear a lot about the specifics of that. How do our hormones actually work? So, there's a whole lot of things around that. So that's kind of your physical side of things.
So diet.
So all of the things that have to do with you creating a well-being, essentially. So how are you going to physically be well enough to move into the rest of your life and control your hormones?
So can that largely be done by diet, or do you find that some people do need to add some mainstream medical to that?
that's entirely up to them, but you really can manage and even reduce. I mean, in my case, I was able to have some of my menopause symptoms just go with all the different things that I did when I approached it from those 3 different pillars. So essentially the only thing that I was really left with, that I still have occasional problems with, but not so much, was night sweats. But I'd been through, you know, almost every symptom that you hear as being part of menopause had been part of my journey. But I was able to get those symptoms down to not being important or gone. And that was not using medication.
Yeah. So I know I didn't use medication, but that wasn't through a purposeful thing. That was me just going, I don't know where to turn or what to do.
well, to be honest, mine was accidental to start with, and then I started to go, oh, okay, well, that's interesting.
There's something happening here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've gone on to do some significant study in a different area. Were you doing that? I'm saying you've gone on to, but were you doing that sort of study as a hypnotherapist, Reiki Master, NLP practitioner?
No, I was doing my study into like the self-healing and the menopause stuff just as a lifelong learner.
Yeah.
But I think doing all of those things enabled me to see and to open up to the emotional and spiritual side of what was happening. So I kind of focused initially on, you know, physical stuff. So, you know, kind of like the plug and play type thing. You know, if I do this physically, what will happen? And then, you know, I started to work with my mindset, my mind, and making changes with that. And that can be one of the most significant things that you can do actually to help with, you know, having your flushes and your flashes, is actually working with your mindset. And then, you know, the importance of ridding ourselves of our limiting beliefs around aging, around menopause and midlife. You know, that's been significant as well. Every step of the line where I got rid of stuff, got rid of some of the crap, I also got rid of some of the stuff that was holding me down in midlife as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, it really has been a journey with a purpose, but I couldn't see the purpose going in, if you know what I mean.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's funny how those things happen. They're like accidental serendipities, and usually you find that some really amazing stuff does come out of adversity. So the program that you've got developed now, drawing on all of the amazing training that you've done over the last 5 years and the skills that you've and your toolkit that you've got assembled, what about that training is going to help someone that was like me a few years ago, that is like up to my neck in quicksand, just trying to live life on a day-to-day basis with it, you know, it just was overwhelming. Some days I just could not even get out of bed.
Well, I suppose the basis of it, other than the knowledge, so I'm going to arm you with knowledge first of all, which, let's face it, you know, knowledge is power. But along the way, we're also going to be doing different processes that will help your body to reset fairly quickly. So sleep, for example, is one big one that, you know, your sleep during midlife gets totally messed up. And I've been working with some people recently just on their sleep, and, you know, it takes very little time using hypnotherapy to actually change someone's sleep pattern and make it better. So, you know, there's all sorts of processes that I do. So it's a one-on-one program, and we figure out what it is specifically that you need, and everything is tailored towards your need. All right, but you're also getting the information that you need. So it's basically an 8-week program that takes you from, you know, being like a menopausal bitch, let's be honest, to someone who has found the way forward with, you know, kind of be a mojo queen moving forward into the rest of their life. So it really does take you on that journey that I took 12 years to get through, let's put it that way.
Wow.
12 years, something like that, 12, 13 years. So it's basically condensing all of those lessons learned from that length of time into an 8-week program that, if you are fully committed to and fully on board with, will seriously make a change in how you are living your midlife. And I'm sure that the people around you will thank you as well as yourself.
I'm sure they would. I know. I remember saying to my daughter, she said, "You're not the mother I know and love." Going, just let me go away and have my crisis. And I said, if I knew that I'm not doing this on purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this on purpose. I just don't know. I don't know what's happening to me. And it was, it was a really interesting time. So
yeah, it is, and that's part of it, because it's almost like, well, for me it was almost overnight, where I went from the kind of person that I was to someone I didn't really recognize half the time. And the way that I interacted with people, all of those things were just totally against who I normally was. And not understanding how to control that just made life hell, basically, for quite a while.
So if there was, we'll give information about for people about how they can access your program. Is it an ongoing program, or if people sign up one-to-one? How does it?
Okay, so the program is a one-to-one program, as I said. So it is tailored specifically to you, and you get all sorts of things as part of it. I won't reveal all now, but there's all sorts of special bits and pieces that'll just help you with that journey.
Yeah.
And it will be starting, so where are we now? So we're beginning of January. So it's actually going to be starting from February.
Yeah.
Launch date not quite in concrete, but getting there. So it'll be in February. So essentially, if you are interested, and this will be the first round of this program, so this is probably the time to get in on it. Okay. So I know that it works because it's worked on me, and I've used elements of it with other people that have worked in an amazing way. So it absolutely works. But because this is the first round of the, Midlife Mojo Queen program, then it is advantageous to actually get on board now. Let's put it that way. So it is going to be at an amazing price.
Okay, well, that sounds awesome. So do you have a conversation with people? Do you have
yes.
what they can have a discovery call, or?
Yes, so all they need to do is reach out and show me that they're interested, and then I will get in contact with them to have a chat, because I need to get a sense of what's actually going on for them so that I can tailor it to their needs, and we kind of go forward from there. Definitely.
Well, Maryanne's website, or her Facebook page, Flourish, is in the link. It's linked above. And
okay, cool.
If you're on mytimetv.live, be live in 5, or if you're on Women in Business Amplified, or in the Women in Business Amplified community, you should find the link above. If you are watching from anywhere else, please do pop over to One Life to Flourish on Facebook. It's Maryanne's Facebook page, and send her a message and just say, can you help me? And I'm sure Maryanne will be able to respond to that.
Yes, or if you can't find all of that, you can just send me a message to Maryanne Till as well. So you should be able to find me that way as well. So either way, happy to have any people reaching out, because as you can probably tell, I am really passionate about helping people to really enjoy midlife and really get the best out of it, rather than feeling like it should be the worst part of their life. It shouldn't be.
So when between now and when people reach out to you, Maryanne, if there's one tip that you could give them to say, just do this one thing and you will feel some improvement. There's probably lots, but what's the one thing that you would say if they could change one thing today?
Oh, can I give you 2?
All right, give me 2.
Okay. So first one I'm going to say is to actually, if you don't already have a daily habit of mindfulness meditation, take it up. All right, because that is going to help you to control the emotional link of things. So there's an emotional link between, say, hot flushes and what's going on in your head and your level of stress. So if you can manage to control that better, then you'll be able to control flushes much better. Okay, so that would be number one tip. Number two tip, a bit of food stuff. Try and put some foods into your diet, like your onions, your garlics, your leeks, those kinds of things. So try and have a serve at least of those every day.
Okay, so you keep the vampires away, and you keep.
No. This is to keep all of those people who tell you to just shut up and put up away.
They'll keep them away as well. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today on the first episode of season 2 of Be My Guest. After a bit of a shaky start, we are off and running with a smooth broadcast, which is totally awesome.
Yes, thank you so much.
And I do look forward to seeing and hearing about all the amazing women that you're going to impact their lives and help them find their midlife mojo, become
midlife mojo queen.
Become the midlife mojo queen of their own lives. Brilliant. Thanks so much. Thank you, everybody. Look forward to seeing you next week on Be My Guest on My Time TV. Bye.